Hi and welcome back to the channel. In this video I'm going to explain what hardening off our plants is all about and why we need to do it. Growing our seeds under cover is a great way of getting a head start on the season. It means that while the weather outdoors is still cold, we can be doing things inside that enables us to get our seeds to germinate and begin life. We sow a lot of seeds during the months of February, March and April, and we utilise the space indoors on our window ledges, we utilise the summer house and also the mini greenhouses to get things started. So let's firstly look at the conditions that plants are growing in and exposed to when they're inside. So if you're growing on a window ledge, for example, you've got the heat from your central heating or fires. You're also going to get some heat coming through the window when the sun's out. And unless we're getting very warm days and you have the window wide open, they're probably not going to experience much wind. So plants grown indoors need a little bit of time to adjust to the new growing conditions. And this is what we call hardening off. We're preparing the plants, getting them ready for their life outdoors. There are three things we need to make sure that the plants become accustomed to before they go outside, and that is the wind, extreme cold and extreme heat. Those three factors can sometimes cause the demise of your plants if they're not prepared, and it can certainly damage them if they're not fully hardened off. So for us, if we've been sowing some tender plants such as tomatoes or cosmos, these will need to have that period of adjustment, and what we will do is we will wait till the last frost date, which for us in the northwest is around the end of May, and 2 weeks before that, so around the middle of May, we'll start to be preparing these plants for the life outdoors. And what we'll do is we'll be taking these out, usually in trays, taking them out from indoors or from inside the summer house and placing them in a sheltered spot during the daytime, and then during the evening we'll bring them back inside, and we'll do that for probably 2 weeks. And you also don't want to be placing these in direct sun because that can cause damage too, but I'll just talk about that in a little moment. If you have a cold frame, you can place the plants inside there with the window open during the day and then close the frame at night time. And if you have like a mini greenhouse like we have, you can place the plants in there, leave the door open, the flap up during the day, and then seal it up during the night. Once the period of around 2 weeks is up and you've been following that process of bringing them out, bringing them in, then after that period the plants should be able to go out unprotected. So what exactly is the hardening off process? And it's basically a way that the plant acclimatizes and adjusts to those growing conditions that it's not been used to before now. The plants will produce their own chemicals and their own responses to their changing environment. Strengthening resources will be put into making the stem stronger, and during this process the plant also builds up resilience to the UV rays of the sun. So just like us, when plants are exposed to high levels of UV rays from the sun, they become scorched. Now we had an issue last year. We placed some of our tomato plants in a shaded position, or so we thought. We went out for the day, and then when we came back we realised that they'd been in sun for most of the day, and that had scorched the leaves, and the leaves had all these blotches all over them, and that's a telltale sign that they've been scorched. Now the plants didn't come to any harm, but if you were to expose them too much to the high levels of UV rays, you could have a potential where the actual plant will die. So what we're looking for in this process is for the plant to build up its own kind of sun blocking chemicals, and these are called flavonoids. And over the period of hardening the plants off, the amount of flavonoids will be increased, which will help to give them protection when they do go outdoors and get full exposure to that very hot summer sun. So it's also true to say that plants can suffer from sunburn just like we do. And I've got a really good example of this just behind me. These are both cornflowers, and this one has spent all of its life outside. So you can see from this one, and particularly by feeling it, the actual leaves feel quite coarse and a lot more rigid, whereas the one that's had its time mostly in the summer house is a lot more finer. And if you put them both together, you can see that that one is a tougher plant, whereas that one will need hardening off. And it's not only seedlings that need to be acclimatised. Things like these dahlias, now these have been growing inside the summer house, so these are also going to need a period of acclimatising, because obviously within the summer house there's no wind getting to them apart from the open windows, and the extent of the sunlight through the windows is not going to be as harsh as what it is when you take them outdoors. So they do need to build up some resilience. So again, these will be taken out on trays, and they'll be taken out during the day and then brought back inside the summer house during the evening for a period of about 2 weeks. And then they can be planted out with success in the final growing positions. So hopefully, if you didn't know what hardening off plants was before this video, you do now. And you also understand some of the reasons why it's necessary to do it when you're growing things initially indoors. If you're sowing direct and the plants germinate where they're going to grow, it doesn't matter, it's fine. They've acclimatized themselves. They've germinated at the time and the temperature that's necessary for them to germinate, and they're beginning life straight away in that harsh environment. I'm only talking about plants that are grown under protection to begin with. Please give this video a like, please subscribe, and if you do have any questions about this topic, please put them in the comments box below the video. We'll see you very soon on the next one. In the meantime, please do take care and happy gardening.